Hey everybody, how are you doing? It's Dr. Cindy Stark here. I'm coming in live for my Tuesday at 2. Today is, what is today? I think it is either April 24th or something like that. So if y'all are coming in live, hearing me live, if y'all can type in hashtag live in the comments, and then if you're coming in on the replay, if you can type in hashtag replay, I would love to know where you guys are from. But I have been coming in here Tuesdays at 10 originally. Now I'm Tuesdays at 2, bringing you guys stuff that I think will help you. Something that I've been exposed to over the last week that'll really help you kind of live your best life, kind of break through subconscious barriers that are in your mind that you don't even realize that you have, so that you can live your best life that's there waiting for you, that you don't even realize is here for your disposal. And for those of you that are meeting me for the first time, I'm Dr. Cindy Stark. I'm an internal medicine doctor, but I am also what I have come to know and kind of dub myself is a natural healer. And I help you gain access to the enormous infinite power in your subconscious mind so that you can specifically go through anything that's happened to you in your life. I don't care if it's childhood trauma, if it's work trauma, if it's relationship trauma, if it's motherhood trauma, friend trauma, anything like that. Any kind of influence that's really caused you to have a lot of guilt and shame, specifically, is what most of my clients have, or anger or sadness, um, any of that, all right? Those are the top things. And help you break through those, get rid of all that wiring that's in your mind. It's running 96% of the show, so that you can gain access to all of that, the whole 100% of your brain, instead of just the 4% of your brain that's up here in the conscious mind. That's where all of us live our life from, until we know how to harness the power in our subconscious mind. So, I run a 12-week program, and I help people specifically if you are empty nesters, if you have gotten divorced, if you have just retired, or like me, all three in the same 1 month. I retired, got divorced, and an empty nester, all in the same. I guess it took 6 months for all that to happen. But so if you find yourself just in the second half of your life with any kind of, and sometimes even if you didn't go through one of those big life events, but you're just in the second half of your life, you just realize that things are not really going exactly as you want them to go, and you're not living the dreams that you had, and you're not accessing all that's available to you, well, then come to me. And there's several ways to work with me. Number one, you can go to my free Facebook group called Reclaim Your Life and Health, and that has 30 hours of free training in there. I catalog them all. It's underneath the featured tab at the top. Or you can come into these live trainings here on Tuesdays at 2. And then from time to time, I roll out different workshops. So the one I just finished was one called the Proprietary Wellness Program, and we met every Sunday at 5 p.m. for 6 weeks. The next one's going to be a much more intimate setting, only 8 people. And it's going to be June 9th, 10th, and 11th, a primitive luxury retreat up in the Appalachian Mountains. We're going to be staying in tiny homes. And the theme for this one is water. And I'm going to show you all kinds of healings that you can do for your own psyche, your mental, emotional, physical well-being, using the power of water. The next one will be fire, and then so on and so on. And so that's coming up June 9th through 11th. So if you want information on that, just type in the word retreat, and I will send you the information, and we'll see if we think you could be a match for that one. That's going to be come Friday at 4 p.m., leave Sunday at 11 a.m. So what I wanted to talk to you today is something that I kind of had an epiphany. Some people would call it a download. I want to show you a picture that I drew. So I retired from full-time medicine, and I became I went into semi-retirement. So I work, instead of 20 days a month, I now work depending on my schedule and what my needs are each month. Usually 5 days, sometimes 9 days, maximum 10 days, okay? And so, excuse me, the pollen is really bad here in Atlanta, Georgia. So what I just did was 5 days in a row. I admitted people from the emergency room at Northeast Georgia Medical Center in Gainesville, Georgia, and I hope y'all can see these graphs that I drew. Okay, so what I realized is that the only people that come into an emergency room to seek the kind of care that I give as a doctor right now um, are people in the last stages of their life. So this, if you can imagine, the x-axis is the years of your life, and some people have a really long life right here, and then toward the end, that's the end of their life. And some people have average lives. These are other average lives. This is someone who maybe died like you know 6 weeks old, and this was like someone who maybe died like 20 or 40 years old. And but regardless, when you by the time you have something really bad happen to you and you're in the emergency room, you're in the very, very tail end of your life. Okay, and so this represents the whole entire human life, and this is when you interface with me. And so minute after minute, hour after hour, day after day, for 5 days in a row, I kept seeing people that were at the very, very, wouldn't even say the end of their life. It's not that they're actively dying or anything like that, but they are very medically fragile. And they're, let's say, a lot of them, let's say, are definitely in the last 10 years of their lives, okay? And average lifespan in America right now is like mid 70s. So you're at the end of your life. And what I started noticing, and Gainesville has this really cool thing that they offer now. They didn't have this when I used to work there last, but they have a service that they give to people that have end stage kidney disease. So their kidneys do not work at all on their own, and they need dialysis now to keep their body alive. And so they have this service in the emergency room. If you are volume overloaded because you need dialysis, you can just walk in, even if you are, what's the word for illegal immigrant? There's a word. Undocumented. Even if you're undocumented, you can go in there. Or if you don't have a primary kidney doctor or Medicaid or anything like that, you can just come into the emergency room and you get dialyzed. So I saw a lot of these people, and I just realized, without the care of these dialysis machines and the surgeons that put the special IV in their arm, these people would not be able to be alive. And they're so dependent on our system and the services that we provide and the surgeons that they literally would not be alive unless that hospital existed like that. And I'm so thankful and grateful and blessed and honored to not only help the patients of Gainesville, Georgia, but also I feel like what I do more than anything is help the doctors, help all the doctors, deliver the care that they have. So I will hopefully be doing that for quite a while longer, even though it is very sad and emotionally taxing. I like to be able to offer that kind of help to my colleagues and to the citizens of this community. It's just something that I really feel drawn to do, and I feel like God really empowered me to be a healer in that way. However, knowing that and seeing and realizing that I keep taking care of people way here at the end of their lives, I realize what I have, and it's almost like my soul knew that COVID was happening and the pandemic was shutting everything down. But around 2016, but definitely in the year 2019, I started having a really strong desire to deliver care in another way, where I really want to help the healthy people, really, really healthy people, like the people that are in right here smack dab in the middle of their life curve and the highest epitome of their health, get even better than they've ever had before, get even more out of their life than they ever have before. People that realize, I'm completely healthy. I am trying to stop these patterns of self-sabotage. I've gone to see counselors. I've listened to podcasts. I've read 20 books. I've done the journaling. I've done the meditation. Hell, maybe I've even gotten on some prescription medications to help me deal with the anxiety or the OCD or whatever it is. And they're still not living the best life that they want to, and they're 35 years old or older. That's who I take care of. Okay, so you're going to have the best chance of getting the most out of my subconscious rewiring program if you meet all of those qualifications I just said. If you've tried everything and you know there's something more you want in life, but you just keep getting in your own way, that's who I take care of. That's who my program was designed for. So, like, a few days a month, I'm always going to take care of those medically fragile people, but all day, every day, it is my soul's desire, and I really feel like it's one of the reasons that God put me on this earth in the year from I was born in 1969, and hopefully I won't die until 100 years after that, so 2069, right? So he's put me here and put this idea in my head so that I can help people right here and right now. And I feel like, oh, I don't want to get upset about this, but I feel like I'm already getting emotional. But there is something major going on right now in the world. And all I can say is I know what's going on here in Georgia. I know what's going on in America, and it's probably going on in the world. But there is this awareness coming on. There is so much more in life than what we've just done, and we are kind of breaking free of these societal expectations where we are just in these relationships, in these limiting beliefs, in these patterns of behavior that are just doing us no good whatsoever. And people are wanting to break free, but they don't know how to, because all we have is, a brain's gonna brain, is what I always say. And your brain is always going to revert right back to the subconscious patterning that's running 94% of the show, 96% of the show. And that is just kind of like what we were born with. There's so much of this narrowing of the way that we are able to see life, but based on the part of the country we were brought up in, or based on what we saw happen in our own families. And there's so much more out there to life. And when all you're doing is going to counselors and reading books and journaling, you're just accessing the 4% of your conscious mind. So where the real power lies is in learning how to get rid of all that trauma, specifically, like I said, the influences that have led you down a road that you don't want to be anymore. And then in my program, not only do we clear out these influences one by one, but then we also clear out the top 6 emotions that are holding us back, and then the top 6 limiting beliefs. And so then and only then do you kind of like clear out the junk, and then you have this neuroplasticity so that your body and your brain can start setting forth the patterns of new neural growth. So it is really just an amazing thing when that happens. And you just almost like, I feel like, you're seeing a life come to life again after a long state of dormancy. I was going to say almost like a baby being born, but it's better than that. It's like a caterpillar turning into a butterfly. So if that sounds interesting to you, please reach out to me, or just respond to this and just say, program. So say retreat if you're interested in the primitive luxury retreat coming up in June. That's half sold out, so I have half more spots left. They're going fast. Or and that's June 9, 10, and 11. Or if you are really at that point where you are ready to break the patterns and free your mind and let yourself see everything that's here available to you, then just DM me the word program, and I'll reach out to you and ask you some questions and see if you're a fit for that 12-week program. But guys, it's interesting how the things that you see sometimes really clarify where you're going in your life. And when I, after the 5th day of working, and I started seeing those patterns emerge, I was just like, I don't know. Like I said, I got that download that showed me that I was working with that end of the life, and it really helped me clarify who my program is intended for and who it's best suited for. So nothing would bring me more pleasure and honor than to work with you. So I will talk to you in the DMs, and otherwise I will see you next Tuesday at 2 p.m. Take care, everybody, and have a good day.